Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another deck profile. This time we've got the Champa deck that you guys voted for. If you remember in last week's post in the discussion group on Facebook, I posted a poll with 3 different leaders, one of which was Champa, and you guys voted to see Champa as the first rogue deck that I was going to do. I want to do more of these rogue series videos because I do think it's pretty fun to build the decks and just kind of put the concepts together. And this actually is a borderline competitive deck. I think it actually has a really powerful win condition, plays one of the strongest engines in the game that we have, which you guys can probably see from now, but we'll talk about it more later. And yeah, I'm really excited to get you guys this profile. I thought it was a lot of fun to make. I think it's really powerful. With that being said, guys, before we get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all the awesome Dragon Ball Super content that I post here. If you guys are looking for a Dragon Ball Super community to get plugged in with, check out the Discord in the description below. Amazing group of people and players there that help you out with anything you need. And finally, guys, if you want to get a competitive edge for the ARG Invitational coming up this weekend, check out the Patreon in the description below. Lots of competitive content getting you guys ready for these competitive events. I actually did an article earlier this week where I talked about my exact deck building process for Champa. So basically you guys can get in my mind a little bit when I'm building a deck, kind of like the process that goes into. I'm not going to go into that process really in this video. This is more going to be me explaining the card choices and why. But in that article, I do go into how to build a deck from the ground up. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely check that out. But with that being said, we're gonna get into the deck profile. Enough shameless plugs. So we have the Champa leader. You probably haven't seen him since set 1, maybe in set 4, because I think my teammate Trey Faircloth, shout out to him, I think he has a Champa deck profile from like set 4. But that being said, this guy hasn't been like super meta relevant since set 4. So we'll give him a quick read. Auto once per turn when your battle card attacks a leader card. If the attacking card is 15,000 or more power, draw 1. So it's pretty neat how he does have access to draw on the Unawakened side, which most draw 2 leaders on Awakened don't have. It gives him a little bit more versatility than Vados, and because of the card we're playing, Almighty Technique Vados, you have basically 2 options, Champa or Vados. I think Champa has a little bit more versatility, having draw power on Awakened side and just having a better backside than Vados, in my opinion. So that's why we went with Champa. And he awakens, he draws 2 cards. On the Awakened side, auto and card attacks, draw 1, activate main, place 1 card from in the drop area, choose this card or one of your battle cards, and it gains double strike for duration of the turn. Really important to note that is not a once per turn effect, so you can basically make your entire board finishers, which is pretty good in my opinion. I think it's really good actually. I think it's actually a borderline competitive, maybe like a tier 2 deck. I think this actually is really strong. So we'll get into the main deck. We got 2 minus Killy zones. Minus Killy zone always has a spot in red decks where your enter play effects are just so powerful. Like cards everyone already knows. Foreseeing Hit, Chain Attack Trunks, and now we have Food the Dark Banisher. You don't want these things getting Cold Bloodlusted, which Cold Bloodlust is very popular right now. You don't want these things getting Mutaito'd, right? So 2 Killy zone in the main deck. We do have some cards in the deck that facilitate your sparking / overrealm, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Then we have Fu the Dark Banisher. In my opinion, the best finisher that Champa can play because Champa can give him that inherent double strike. A lot of the problems that people see with Fu the Dark Banisher, besides like Crusher Ball or I guess like Mutaito or Time Magic or Mafuba, is that he is only triple attack. He's not super threatening on his own. He's much more threatening when you already have an established board. And you can't always account for that. Like you can try your best to already have an established board, but you can't always account for that, right? So having the leader give him the ability to gain double strike permanently for the turn fixes that entire problem of not being like quote unquote the best finisher, right? But giving him double strike leader effect makes him an insane finisher. Triple attack, double strike. Every time your opponent wants to activate a skill, whether it's a negate, a super combo, anything like that, they got to lose a card from their hand. It makes him an insane finisher, which makes those cards that enable sparking and overrealm even more important later on. So next up, we got Zeno the Playing God. There's a lot of neat things you can do with this. Obviously, everyone knows pretty much the Chain Zeno engine is at this point. Zeno the Playing God serves a lot of purposes in this deck. He is great discard fodder for your super combo. He's great discard fodder for your 2-drop Vados. He's great discard fodder for your leaders give double strike effect. So a little bit of indirect synergy there. But the other cool thing you can do is like if you're able to awaken turn 2 in this deck while at like a super high life total like 8, 7, or 6, and you chain Zeno someone on turn 3, going into the post Chain Zeno game with like 6 or 7 life and your opponent maybe hopefully being at less life than you is huge. It's absolutely huge, and you're still going to be an awakened leader, so you can draw a card after Chain Zenoing your opponent. It's absolutely insane, right? So the Chain Zeno followed up by the Fu the Dark Banisher in most cases is really insane, especially with your leader giving it double strike, right? So we've got the elegant super combo Hellas, whatever her name is. So she is like one of the most insane super combos in the game because she's basically a Hoi, and she is restricted to god leaders, and Champa is a big green cat god, purple cat god, sorry. So we play the Vados or Hellas super combo, and yeah, it's really good, really good to be able to cycle through cards, get rid of dead Zenos, dead negates, anything like that. We've got 4 Afterimage Technique. So this is going to be our negative choice because we are a mid-range strategy. We do have cards that facilitate sparking, so it kind of just all makes sense in that regard. And I don't really want a main deck is that all you got, because I don't feel like it's super necessary in the format right now as it is. But even with that being said, we don't untap energy with Champa, so we can't do that defensively in a pinch if we need to. So I'd rather have the versatility of 4 after image just being able to spark, right? Being able to resolve sparking. So I think that's a little bit better. Then we have your 4 Kaba and your 4 intensifying power trunks. I think this is really important to take advantage of Champa's front side draw effect if you don't hit your Vados turn 2, or if you're not able to awaken early. I think that's really, really important, and we want Sand Kaba just as an additional finisher post Zeno, or really just in any late game scenario. Late game Kaba is really good. Intensifying power trunks obviously pairs well with chain attack trunks, we'll talk about later. And then we have the 3 Mega Focus Sun Goku. So this is a tech card that I'm trying out just to facilitate your sparking for 1 and deal with some troublesome cards on the board. So we'll read what it does real quick. He is a 2-drop requiring 1 red, but this is basically a mono red deck anyway. Activate main once per turn. Burst 3. So by milling 3 cards for the duration of the turn, this card gains plus 5k power and can attack battle cards in active mode. So he gives us a way to deal with barrier for the most part, which the deck doesn't really have other than that, except for a few minute ways. But the main thing about him is that he facilitates our burst, facilitates our overwhelm, right? Like in a slow, grindier matchup, a slower control matchup, I should say, it's going to be a little bit harder to get 8 in the drop by turn 4, turn 5, especially if your opponent's not attacking you. So being able to enable that yourself is really, really good. And the burst 3, if you end up not attacking a battle card and attacking a leader, he will trigger Champa's front side effect to draw because he'll be a 15k attacker. So there is that to consider. I think it's really good. I think it's a really good multi-purpose card in the deck. Then we got Almighty Technique Vados. So her auto is when you play this card, you may choose 1 card in your hand and place it in the drop area. If you do, for duration of the turn, if your leader card is a red Champa or red Vados, you can activate its Awaken skill even if you have 5 or more life. So this is basically the anniversary box support we got specifically for Champa and Vados, allowing us to awaken on turn 2. It does require double red, so that's why we're playing pretty much mono red. And it's really, really neat, like I said, to be able to awaken at like 6, 7, 8 life with Champa, be able to start drawing cards consistently, and then just having a lot of life for your opponent to plow through while you're still gaining advantage, and you get that draw 2 on awaken early. It's so insane. It's absolutely insane. Being able to do this and then following up with a Chain Zeno while still being at 6, 7 life is also still insane. So now we get into our Chain Attack Trunks package. We got the 4 Burst Tech Sun Gohan, the 2 Fearless Pan, the 2 Glory Vegeta, and the 3 Digging Deep Vegeta, right? So these are all our targets we want to be summoning off Chain Attack Trunks. Ideally, we can summon them on their own if we need to, but they're way better when you're playing them off Chain Attack Trunks. So Burst Tech Sun Gohan, he is our early card draw engine. A lot of times on turn 2, if you Chain Attack Trunks into Burst Attack Gohan, you're going to be drawing 2 cards, right? You're going to be drawing 2 cards, and then the following turn, if you drop the Vados to awaken early, you're just going to be plussing so hard, right? And that turn 2 Burst Tech's also going to trigger your Champa's frontside leader effect. So just a ton of synergy right there. Post Zeno is also one of the most insane cards you can be dropping as well, because you're going to be at a pretty low hand size after you Zeno someone, especially if you sequence things right. So you'll draw 2 off Burst Attacks on Gohan, maybe give him double strike with the leader. So that's another cool thing you can do. If you're at like 6 cards in hand, you play Burst Attacks on Gohan, put you at 5 cards in hand, you discard a card to give him double strike, so that's double strike crit, and he's going to draw you 2 cards, which is really, really good. Fearless Pan coming in, boosting the entire board. He also gives your leader double strike, which I really, really like. Glory Obsessed Vegeta, another way to deal with barrier cards, especially Path to Greatness. So Mega Focus on Goku is a little bit too small to deal with Path to Greatness. The first swing with Glory Obsessed Vegeta is going to be a 25k, so it is a lot bigger than they have to deal with. If they don't have the Goten in their hand, they have to combo 2 cards to save the path, which every single combo piece counts in that matchup, right? Digging Deep Vegeta, another good card to summon up Chain Attack Trunks. Like I said, in those slower control matchups, they're not going to be dealing a lot of damage to you. So if you can get off that turn 2 Awaken and then Chain Attack into Digging Deep, or just hardcast Digging Deep in general, you can get those cards out of your life and then just, keep putting on the pressure. Digging Deep and Source of Power, those types of cards have always been so much pressure. 4 Foreseeing Hit, one of the best cards, if not the best card to drop after Chain Zoning someone. And we have the famous Chain Attack Trunks, which everyone knows and loves. So this deck is actually super cool. I've been testing it a little bit. One of my Patreons actually has been testing it a lot. He actually took it to locals this past weekend and did really well with it. Said that Dark Banisher Fu was the finisher the deck actually just needed outright. Chain Zeno at high life is super good. And yeah, the deck just really came together really well. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know if you guys play around with it. Let me know if you guys have any ways to make it better. Really want to hear your guys' thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Joey. This is Crossroad TCG, and I'll see you guys at the ARG Invitational this weekend.
What's up, Dragon Ball players? DP here. Me and Joey just come back from locals. We're just hanging out in his room, you know, eating chimichangas, playing cards. You know the deal. Man, he really does have like a nice pad for you guys to check out while you guys are watching his videos, huh? Real scenic, real nice to look at. Hey, while you're here, you guys should subscribe to the channel, you know, watch some of the other videos. Pretty cool place to get some nice Dragon Ball content. You guys see my shirt? I love this shirt. I love Spider-Man. He's like my hero.